Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar that we're running today on May 4th, How Model UN Can Help Students Succeed in College, Careers, and Beyond. Before we get started, I just want to thank you guys for showing up. Um, a little bit about myself. My name is Stephen Tempesta. I am both an alumni of the MUN Institute, currently serving as president of the alumni board, and I'm going to be a diplomacy fellow this summer for the MUN Institute. I'm currently a joint honors student at McGill University studying political science and psychology. And not only that, but to kick this presentation off, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about how Model UN really helped me in my college and career path so far. Not only did I write about the MUN Institute and Model UN in my college essay, and in all the correspondences that I had with the accepted schools I got into, and McGill University especially, but Model UN has helped me accomplish some amazing things so far. Not only has Model UN allowed me to be a delegate of the McGill University delegation to the Commission on the Status of Women in the Economic and Social Council at the United Nations in New York, but this year I was able to serve as the Vice President Internal of our International Relations Students Association, which holds all of our Model UN activity, all of the conferences that we run, our International Review Journal, and even our correspondences with the United Nations. And aside from that, when I was in high school, I was both my class and student body president. A lot of that success was due to Model UN, and I was able to win a number of scholarships, one of them being the Myra Memorial Scholarship, because of the abilities that I gained through Model UN. And now to introduce the person I'll be co-hosting this webinar with, Laurabeth Goldsmith.
Hi everyone, my name is Laurabeth Goldsmith and I work full-time for Best Delegate, and I absolutely love Model United Nations, and it has had a truly profound impact on my life, and I'm so excited to share with all of you how Model UN can help you in your college journey and in your future careers. Personally, I've been doing Model UN for the past 10 years, and I started in Model UN in high school. And at one of the first conferences I attended, I had the incredible opportunity to hear Secretary General Ban Ki-moon speak. And right then and there, I was hooked on Model UN and on the work of the United Nations, how they are working to ensure human rights and equality for people around the world. And so personally, I was incredibly excited about the impact that Model UN and the United Nations has on the world. And personally, Model UN was a big part of my experiences in high school, and it helped me to get accepted to many universities, including where I ended up attending Emory University. Personally, I received over $50,000 in college scholarships and even a number of full tuition scholarships to schools that I ultimately did not matriculate to. But Model UN really helped me to receive the Coca-Cola Scholarship, Emory Merit Scholarships, the Presidential Scholarship from the University of Virginia, where I attended the Semester at Sea program and traveled around the world teaching human rights and self-defense to girls in many different countries, the Girl Scout Scholarship, the Key Club Scholarship in high school, and many others. So for me, Model UN was not only something that profoundly impacted my own life and inspired me to want to learn more about international relations and human rights, but it also inspired me and helped me to get into the college of my dreams and to have my desired career. So I'm so excited to be here today to share with all of you a little bit about how Model UN can impact the lives of students for their colleges, their future careers, and really the skills that they'll be able to use for the rest of their lives. So why is Model UN important, and why do colleges care? The number one thing is that Model UN really can help students to impress the admissions officers. Admissions officers at top universities around the world are looking for examples of learning and leadership. And Model UN demonstrates both of these key skills. You're able to demonstrate your learning and that you're excited about many different things in international relations, and your leadership through the experiences that you have in Model UN. And specifically, this can be done through winning awards in Model UN, running conferences, sharing simulations and committees at your own school and your own conferences, and training your own clubs and programs and serving as student leaders. So really, Model UN can be a holistic opportunity for you to show your passion about learning and academics, as well as your passion for being a leader, which are two key qualities that college admissions officers are looking for. I want to share with you the experiences of some of our students who have attended the Model UN Institute and how their experience in Model UN helped them to succeed in getting accepted into some of the top universities in the world. First, I want to share with you the story of Khalil. Khalil is an alumni of the Model UN Institute who recently was accepted to Yale University and many others and will be matriculating to Oxford University in the fall. Khalil is an incredible leader who is not only president of his own Model UN team, but founded the only bilingual high school conference in Ontario and has won 9 Best Delegate awards. And this truly is a holistic approach. You can see his leadership, his academic excellence through the awards that he's won, and really initiative in founding and creating a conference. And we're also excited to share that Khalil will be serving as a staff member, a diplomacy fellow at the Model United Nations Institute this summer. In addition to Khalil, we've had many other alumni that have gone on to incredible success after our programs, and I'm happy to tell you about Rebecca, who was one of the first students that I had at the MUN Institute. And coming into the program, she was pretty shy and a little bit nervous to speak in public in front of others. And Model UN had a profound impact on Rebecca. After starting Model UN her sophomore year, she attended the MUN conference at Georgetown, and then she went on to demonstrate leadership. After attending the Model UN Institute, she went on to be vice president of her Model UN club, class president at her school, Mission High School, and valedictorian of her class. And this year, she is a freshman at Harvard University. And in her college essays, she also talked about Model United Nations and international relations and how that tied into her passion and her future. And we're also excited to share that Rebecca is going to be a staff member this summer as well for the MUN Institute. And since we're talking about college success, I also wanted to share with you Jay Buckley, who is one of our alumni that has had tremendous success in winning awards at conferences and also was accepted into numerous prestigious universities. Jay Buck this year won honorable mention at UCLA, an outstanding delegate award at SeaMonkey, and a best delegate award at Harvard MUN this year. And he was accepted into many incredible schools, the School of Foreign Service at Georgetown, Dartmouth College, Cornell University, UC Berkeley, and more. And these are just 3 of the hundreds of incredible alumni that have come through the MUN Institute. But I wanted to share with you how Model UN isn't just about one thing. It can be about leadership in your own clubs and schools, about awards, and about a variety of opportunities that help to bring together a package of learning and leadership that really colleges are looking for and that will help you get into your desired schools. So what I wanted to share with you next is, so you've had these experiences, but what do you do with them that helps you set you apart? It all comes down to your college essays and interviews. This is really what's going to help set you apart and help you to succeed in getting into some of the best colleges. So first and foremost, Model UN can help you write your personal essays and can help you to prepare for your interviews. It's not enough to just put down awards that you've won or conferences that you've attended on your applications. You really need to communicate a personal narrative and a holistic approach. And so you want to not only say what you've done, but weave in a full story. And of course, Model UN helps with the interviews themselves because MUN helps students to gain confidence and public speaking that is incredibly necessary when you are involved in a one-on-one interview at many of the top universities around the world. So college essays and interview prep, it's great for the public speaking side, and it's also vital because it enables you to communicate a personal narrative that ties back into your learning and your leading journey. So I want to tell you some example essays so that you can see this in action. How do you weave a story around your MUN experience? And there's no better example than Best Delegate's co-founder, Ryan Villanueva, who is currently the executive director, the co-executive director and co-founder of the MUN Institute. And he went to Yale University. And he wrote his admissions essay on finding his voice. And Ryan was always passionate about singing growing up. And he really loved to sing. But eventually, he learned that his voice was changing, and he could display his own voice much better through public speaking than through singing, which is what he essentially had started with. So his journey went from singing to competing in Model United Nations. And he not only won awards, Best Delegate at numerous conferences, and ran conferences for his school and led his Model UN team. And that's what provided the incredible narrative and his personal story that helped lead him to getting accepted into Yale University and winning many public speaking scholarships that helped to reduce the cost of tuition at the prestigious university. And the other co-founder of Best Delegate and the MUN Institute, Kevin Felix Chan, also had an incredible MUN journey in high school and went from a shy student to being transformed into a leader through Model UN. And so these stories help to create a narrative and enable you to give a passionate essay that lets admissions officers see more than just a list of accomplishments, but really see your personality and what sets you apart and would help you to excel at the school that you're applying to.
So at the MUN Institute, a lot of us have used Model UN to get into college, have used Model UN to help us in our careers, and have used Model UN to further a whole host of different goals throughout our lives in a bunch of different jurisdictions. And so when it comes to college, we've really boiled down 3 tips from the MUN Institute that can help anyone who's looking to apply to college. The first is going to be definitely demonstrating leadership to all of these universities that you're looking to apply to through both winning awards, chairing committees and running conferences, and then taking all of those skills that you've learned and going back and training your club. There's 3 very different ways that you can demonstrate leadership through Model UN, these just being some of them, but they're all very important to show to universities, to show them that you're a well-rounded student. Next is going to be seek advice from people that you've met through Model UN that are attending or have already attended competitive universities. A lot of the time, the best advice you're going to get is going to be from students who are in college right now or who have just recently completed university, because they're going to be most apt to speak to the experience that you'll have and most apt to speak to the experience of applying to colleges around the time when you're applying to colleges. They are going to know exactly what worked and didn't work for them. And when you combine all of that information from people that you've met through Model UN who are looking to apply to, are in, or have completed degrees at competitive universities, this advice is only going to benefit you when it comes to apply to all the different schools you're looking for, and it's going to help you find the right school for you. The third is going to be to reflect on all of your Model UN experience in your essays and your interviews. So it's not just enough to make sure that you demonstrate leadership through Model UN by exercising your Model UN skills in a number of different ways, and it's not just enough to collect advice either. You need to show universities that you can think critically about all this information and explain to them how you know that it's transformed you as a person and how it's helped you become an all-around more prepared student when it comes to university. So now that you've gotten your application together, you've done Model UN, your high school time is winding down, it's time to now pick the right university for you. There's a number of different ways that you can find which university is right for you. A lot of people go about it a number of different ways, but using Model UN to achieve this end, there's a number of different things you can do. The first is going to be attend a Model UN conference at the school that you're looking to go to. Oftentimes, the most competitive schools are the ones that are going to have the most active Model UN teams. And so this way, when you're looking to apply to all of these schools, you'll have the opportunity to visit them through Model UN conferences, to talk to students who are going to that school right now and who are probably studying something you want to study. And you can talk to them about their experience, tour the campus, and meet other kids who are looking to apply to that school as well. The next is going to be speak with students that are already at that school. There is going to be no better source of information than a student who is actively pursuing a degree at the school you want to go to, because they're going to have lived in the residences you're going to be looking to live in. They're going to have eaten at the meal halls you're going to be looking to eat in. They're going to have studied the same material looking to study, even been in some of the same classes that you're going to take, and they're going to know exactly what to tell you when you show up at this university and you're trying to find out whether you fit right or not. And it's not just enough to speak to students at one school. The most important thing you could do is visit a whole number of universities and talk to students at schools that are very dissimilar. So then you have an idea of how all the different aspects of big schools, little schools, schools that are very urban, schools that are very rural contrast with each other, and what setting is going to be best for you. And lastly is going to be make sure that you have unique elements in your essay that speaks to each one of the schools that you apply to, should they have unique applications. You want to show all of these colleges that not only have you done your research and that showing them that you've taken the time to invest a little bit in their university, because that's going to be very important to them. But this also lets them know how you are going to fit into their university through your own eyes, because each university is very different. And by demonstrating this in your essay with a little bit of a nuance towards each school that you're applying to, this is going to show admissions officers that you've put in the time, and not only are you prepared to come to this school, but that you think you'll fit in very, very well. So as someone who's competing on the circuit right now for Model UN through McGill University's team, a lot of the top universities that you'll stereotypically see at all of the lists you can find that are ranking schools these days, those are the same schools that are going to have some of the best Model UN teams. Schools like the University of Chicago, Georgetown, Harvard, UPenn, uh, West Point, Yale, Columbia, Emory, Stanford, McGill. The list goes on of schools that are the top academically and also have very, very good Model UN teams. These schools not only have very, very good Model UN teams, but a lot of them also put on their own conferences, which will be very large, much larger than your typical high school conference. We'll invite all of the current university teams on the circuit to come and compete at, and we'll have some of the highest level of intellectual debate that you can find amongst college students. And so when you're looking to apply to a school with a good Model UN team, a lot of the time the best place to look is going to be some of the most academically rigorous schools as well. So, as I touched on a little bit, College Model UN is definitely a lot different in terms of its structure when it comes to comparing it with high school Model UN. The activity that you're doing is going to be very similar. The topics may go a bit more in depth, but the main differences that you're going to find are the size of the teams that you're competing with and against, and the whole host of different things that all of these now international relations clubs can do at your university. So in high school, depending on the size of your school, your team can probably range from any size between 10 and 50 students. And you'll take most, if not all of them, to each conference that you go to. But when you get to university, the size of these clubs that send delegations teams all over the country and possibly all over the world are going to be much, much larger. A lot of them more than 200 students. And a great example would be what we have at McGill University. We have almost 300 students in our international relations organization, and we send a delegations team to almost 4 conferences every semester. Not only do all of these clubs send students and hold conferences, but they also host domestic competitions between their own students. They're able to bring in guest speakers from all over the world. They're able to host debates. They're able to engage in a lot of studies with faculty members and do a lot more academically oriented activities than you're able to do in high school. For example, we were able to get both Ban Ki-moon to come speak at McGill University this year, but our International Relations Students Association was able to get the United States ambassador to Canada to come and have a debate with students who were a part of a number of different jurisdictions throughout the university, including the Economic Students Association, Political Science, International Relations, and part of student government, to come and debate all of the big international relations issues that are pertinent to youth today. And so it's really important to note how much larger and how much more encompassing these organizations can be in college, and have that factor into where you want to go to school. Some famous MUN alumni that people don't often hear about are people like Ban Ki-moon did Model UN back when he was a student. Samuel L. Jackson, the actor, Chelsea Clinton, daughter of President and Senator Clinton, Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer, and even American Idol host Ryan Seacrest are all Model UN alumni. And while they're all doing very different things, you can see how the same skill set that you'll gain through Model UN is able to be applied to a whole number of different professions and effectively as well.
Like Steve mentioned, MUN opens up countless opportunities for students after they graduate from college and during college for internships. And I wanted to share this photo with you. It's from the State Department. And it's an image of diplomats worldwide sharing how Model UN influenced and motivated them. And it's truly incredible because there are Model UNers all over the world in political careers, in legal careers, in diplomacy, education, science, and really anything else that people want. Because Model UN is not only about the simulation of the United Nations, but it's also about the topics that you learn about through MUN, whether that be science or anything else that you learn about. It can help to influence your future trajectory and can be used and mentioned in interviews, in essays, on resumes, and help you to create the holistic package when you're presenting yourself to universities and to employers. So I want to share with you the experience of a couple of MUNers that I think were truly impacted by their experience in Model UN, and it helped them with their future job. First is Finn Carlson, who is an intern at the United Nations Department of Public Information, and he had this to say: "Thanks to Model UN, I not only improved my personal and academic skills and found a college major to follow, but also had the opportunity to intern for the real United Nations. Model UN gave me the experience to excel at my job." And you can see Finn here with the Secretary General of the UN, Ban Ki-moon, and he is an incredible Model UNer, an intern, an advocate for the power and impact that Model UN can have on students' lives. And so for him, he had a passion in Model United Nations that led him to the United Nations itself. But MUN can also lead you in many other directions. Another former MUNer that I want to share with you is Stephanie Sobek, who is a US Foreign Service officer. And she had this to say about her experiences: "I went from debating solutions to the Syrian civil war with college students to collaborating with UNHCR and the Jordanian government on how to provide Syrian refugees with work permits and access to education in Jordan. In addition to learning about a wide range of foreign policy issues, Model UN taught me how to research, refine, and present the interests of a different country, and how to convince my peers to jump on board with my proposed policies." Stephanie is one of many Model UNers that went on to a career in foreign service, and Model UN can lead you in many directions, but a lot of MUNers are interested in the various components of foreign service and also in working at the UN. So we wanted to share the experiences of these two individuals with all of you.
So at the MUN Institute, we have a number of alumni, some that you've already seen, who go on to be wildly successful when it comes to university and getting into university. This year, we had seniors accepted to Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Stanford, Oxford, Georgetown, Columbia, and a whole host of other very academically rigorous universities. At the MUN Institute, students not only are able to experience taking classes and living and eating in some of the United States top universities, but there are also students there that they're able to interact with throughout the summer, and they're going to refine all of their different academic skills through learning at the MUN Institute. So a little bit of history about the MUN Institute. Best Delegate was founded, as you know, by Kevin Felix Chan and Ryan Villanueva in the year 2010. And since then, we've had a number of students come through the MUN Institute. And as a great example, last summer we had over 600 students come to MUNI programs all over the country, both on the East and West Coast. All in all, Best Delegate has been able to teach in over 25 countries all over the world so far. This summer, we're going to have program locations again on both the East and West Coast. On the East Coast this year, we're going to have programs at Georgetown University, Harvard University, and Columbia University. And on the West Coast, we're going to have programs at the University of California, Berkeley, the University of California, Los Angeles, and the University of California at Irvine. There's also a number of different programs that the MUN Institute offers students of all different ages. And this year, we're even adding a new program for the youngest of us so far. We're adding a new elementary school program called Mini Diplomat for students between the ages of 9 and 10 who are looking to get the biggest head start on Model UN you could ever have. And I wish that program was around when I was a kid because I would have totally been a part of that. After that, we then have programs for students between 10 and 14 years old. So at the middle school level, we have the Junior Diplomat program for students who have never been able to experience Model UN before, the Junior Ambassador program for students who have done a few Model UN conferences and are really looking to hone their skills, and we have the Junior Crisis program, which is for students who want to take part in the other side of Model UN, which are specialized crisis committees that are much smaller that work with real-time updated issues. Then we have the programs that we've had for the longest, the high school programs. Again, Diplomat for students who are new to Model UN, the Ambassador program for students who are really looking to hone their skills at Model UN, the Secretary General program, which is for students who want to go back to their schools, be club leaders, club presidents, and not only help train their own teammates, but also possibly put on conferences at their own school, and the Crisis program for students who are looking to be a part of the other side of Model UN, which with much smaller committees and real-time issue updates. And we also have the Advisors Institute for anyone over the age of 25, for advisors that want to be able to go back and help their students at their individual school be as successful as they can be and learn more about Model UN, because oftentimes advisors don't have the same ability to learn about Model UN as students have. So at the MUN Institute, we do daily Model UN training throughout the course of the day. For younger students, it goes from 9 to 4, and for older students, it goes from 9 to 5. After that, there's a little bit of short daily homework that pertains to the lesson of that day and what we'll be doing the following day. And then on each Friday, we have an all-day simulation for students to practice and show off all of the skills that they've learned throughout the course of the week and to experience what a full-on Model UN committee feels like. At the MUN Institute, we teach a number of different skills, but the most important ones that can apply to every aspect of your life, whether that's going to be academic, in Model UN, or maybe things that you're going to use in your career, are a small group. That being public speaking, which will teach you through both public speaking style modules so that you look more confident, and public speaking structure to make sure that the structure of your speeches give the best information, the fastest and the easiest to your audience. We're going to teach writing skills so that students become much stronger writers. They get their point across much clearer and much more organized. And we're also going to teach them how to write the resolutions that students will have to write in Model UN. We're going to teach students a very important skill, and that being research, which can be applied to any aspect of their life moving forward. But most importantly, we teach students things like how to discern the best sources for information, how to do much more effective searches for information, and how to make sure that they're representing the issue from all sides, from all angles, and they're presenting the best form of the argument. We're also going to teach them negotiation. One of the most important things that students are going to learn through practicing Model UN and through doing it in committee are going to be a number of social dynamics. And that can apply to when you're trying to corral a whole group of students that are all trying to talk over one another, and you're trying to allow all the voices in the group to be heard, or whether it's just a one-on-one conversation and you're trying to get to the root of the matter so that you can come to a consensus on an issue. Then, after we've taught the students all of those different skills, they're going to culminate at the final conference on Friday, where each student will represent a country in the General Assembly of the United Nations, or a specific position in a crisis committee if they're at a crisis camp. And they're going to work through as they would a regular Model UN committee. They're going to get up and give speeches. They're going to have time where they will negotiate and write resolutions. And they're going to have the opportunity to come to consensus and work towards consensus building throughout the day and hopefully pass a resolution at the end of it all.
So clearly we're passionate about Model UN, and we've seen the impact that it's had on students' lives. And it's not just about any one thing. Really, the MUN Institute and Model UN, it really leads students to succeed in leading clubs, in winning awards, and in getting accepted into the top colleges. This year alone, we've had over 100 students in leadership positions at their own schools. And again, close to 100 students winning awards at major conferences. And our students were accepted into some of the best colleges in the United States and around the world. And you can see in this picture just a sampling of our alumni that have won Best Delegate awards at Harvard, Georgetown, Yale, many of the major MUN conferences. And so we hope that you will continue to participate in Model United Nations and will go on to succeed in college, in your future career, and in life. And personally, both Steve and myself know the impact that MUN has had on us. And we hope that you will participate in Model UN, attend the MUN Institute, and go on to have incredibly successful lives, because Model UN helps students learn about the world and have a more global perspective. And we think regardless of what college or career you go on to, it can truly help you to succeed. And of course, we would love to have you at the MUN Institute this summer. And I see that we've got a mix of parents and students and alumni of the MUN Institute on the webinar here today. And we hope that we'll have many new students and returning students at the MUN Institute this summer. So if you're excited to step into the shoes of diplomats and to learn about world issues and improve your public speaking, negotiation, and research skills, we hope that you'll join us this summer at the MUN Institute. If you're ready to enroll, go to mun.bestdelegate.com and click on the register button in the upper right-hand corner. And in order to enroll, you'll simply be directed to your parent portal where you can select the program and the optional add-ons that work best for you. And as a special thank you for attending this webinar today or for listening to it online after the fact, we want to offer you a $50 discount. And this discount will be applied if you enroll by May 8th. And when you're checking out and enrolling in the MUN Institute, please enter the coupon code AlumniWeb, and the discount will be automatically applied to your account. So we are very excited to share this information with you, and we hope to have you at the program. And of course, if you have any questions, we want you to reach out to us. My email is mun@bestdelegate.com, and our phone number is 646-308-1411. And of course, you can find out more information about Model UN and the MUN Institute at muninstitute.com, where you'll find information about each of the programs that we offer and really decide what is the right program for you to ensure that you have a great experience, enhance your Model UN skills, and go on to be accepted to some of the most incredible universities and set yourself up for career success as well. So at this time, I would love to go ahead and see if anyone has any questions. And if you have any questions, please feel free to submit them via the chat function on this webinar. And we'll go ahead and take a few of the questions from our attendees in order to help you guys to succeed even further in your future college decisions and your careers. So please feel free to go ahead and submit questions via the chat function. All right, we've gotten our first question in, which is actually from an alumni of the MUN Institute. And they are in the process of making a list of colleges that they're interested in attending in the future and wanting to learn more about really how to choose the best program and the best college for them. And what I'd like to share with you is that we create an incredible resource network. Like we mentioned, MUNers are at some of the best colleges in the US, and they're the greatest network of allies and resources that we can connect you with because they're passionate about the same types of issues as you are, and they can share their experiences in university. So to our alumni and other MUNers, The MUN Institute helps to connect people to students at some of the top universities so they can learn more about which college and which program might be best for them.
To add my own personal anecdote to that, this is exactly actually how I got to the university that I got to, McGill. The summer that I went to the MUN Institute, which is 3 or 4 summers back now, I had a girl named Marta Canary as my diplomacy fellow who was attending McGill University at the time and who would end up becoming the Secretary General of MUN, which is the second largest university Model UN conference in the world. I was able to chat with her. I chatted her ear off about McGill and everything that she studies in political science. She gave me some tips about how to rework my essay for the McGill program. And then I got in. I talked to her about it the first day. I met her on campus. She showed me around the city. She introduced me to a couple people who did Model UN at McGill at the time. And then I was able to get on a delegation trip as a freshman. I was the only person to do it as a freshman that year. And so the connections that you're going to make through the MUN Institute are going to be some of the most paramount when it comes to not only going to college and getting into college, but once you're there, actually helping you be a part of all the different programs you want to be a part of.
Absolutely. Steve, thank you for sharing your personal story. And I also ended up choosing my university because when I went to visit Emory, I stayed with the president of the MUN team at the time, and that truly impacted my experience. And I got to see what my life would be like at that school and how I would fit into the bigger picture. And right then and there, I knew what was my path from then on. So absolutely, Model UN and the MUN Institute can connect you to student leaders at many of the institutions you're interested in, and it can help you to choose the best school for you. And they also can help writing essays and applying with ensuring that you fully understand what the school has to offer. So we got another question about why the universities actually really care about MUN. Beyond learning and leadership, what makes them want to recruit Model UN students? And I think that's an absolutely great question. Much like schools recruiting students for sports teams, for football teams and sailing teams and everything else, schools are also looking for debaters and Model UNers to attend their universities. And like Steve mentioned, the top MUN schools in the country are many of the top universities in the country and in the world as well. And so universities are looking for students who already excel at this activity in order to continue to improve the reputation of the school, the visibility of their political science programs, and really the excellence of their political science associations and international relations clubs and their MUN teams. So these top schools don't just care because they see the learning and leadership, but they also see the demonstrated success of the students that have come through Model UN and have chosen to attend those universities. All right, we have time for one or two more questions. The next question that I'm going to take is about conference organizing specifically. So we have a question about how to organize conferences and how organizing conferences can impact your ability to get into great colleges as well. So conference organizing is an incredibly unique set of skills because it's not just about you learning about international relations, but it's also about you learning how to lead and organize a large-scale conference. Many high schools are able to organize conferences that raise thousands and thousands of dollars. In fact, we published an article on bestdelegate.com today about a high school in California that raises over $30,000 a year through their high school conference, and this year gave out $17,000 in college scholarships to graduating seniors from their university to help them to succeed in college. So colleges are really looking for this experience in conference organizing as well. And in high school, if you're interested in starting a conference, I highly encourage you to check out our Secretary General program at the MUN Institute and many of the resource articles that are on bestdelegate.com. Because if you have experience in MUN, it's a combination of your background and experience in Model UN and the skills that you'll need to actually organize in order to create a really successful conference. But I highly encourage all of you who are interested to not only continue to compete at other schools' conferences, but to create your own. And that's one of the best ways that high schools and colleges are able to fund their Model UN program is by hosting conferences themselves.
To show or to give an example of how well that really works, I had the pleasure of teaching a student last summer whose name is Audrey Lee, who went to the ambassador program, discovered how much she loved Model UN and wanted to bring it back to her school, got in touch with a couple of the diplomacy fellows who were running the Secretary General program to get some tips on running her own conference. And after that, she was able to go back to her own school, become the Secretary General of a conference that she put on at her own high school for the very first time. And after that, she was able to speak to that experience and all of the ups and downs that come with planning a conference. And she was accepted to Johns Hopkins University. She was accepted to McGill University. And then she ended up choosing to go to Williams University, which is a mini Ivy in Massachusetts. And so that just goes to show the qualities that come with putting on your own Model UN conference for the first time can be the perfect culmination of showing the leadership to put on such a monumental event and all the different skills that come together with Model UN to college admissions officers.
Absolutely. So we have time for one final question on this call, and this one absolutely excites me. We got a question about beyond academics and college and careers, what are the other things that Model UN does for students? And the number one thing that I boil it all down to is that Model UN is fun. And MUN is FUN. It connects you to other student leaders who are excited about similar issues as you and are passionate, and it gives you the opportunity to truly gain confidence in yourself. And so I really encourage each and every one of you to continue to participate in Model UN, to sign up for the MUN Institute, and to gain that confidence and to have fun through this incredible activity and go on to succeed at these incredible colleges and at the programs and future careers that inspire and motivate you. So thank you all so much for joining us today. We were very glad to have you at this webinar, and feel free to reach out to me or to Steve if you have any future questions, and we hope to see you at the MUN Institute and to hear about your future college and career success as well. If anyone has any questions, feel free to continue to send us messages in the chat function, and we're happy to answer them. But for everyone else, thank you again, and please have a fantastic evening. Steve, do you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, just to touch on the last bit, some of my best friends I've made through Model UN and specifically the MUN Institute. There's a couple people that I was able to meet when I was a camper who are still some of my closest friends to this day. People who not only live across the country, but also now go to universities in a completely different part of the world. And there's still people that I talk to every day and some of the closest relationships that I have. And so outside of Model UN, or outside of academia, the thing that Model UN can do is give you some of the best friends that you're going to have and friends for life. And that's a story that you'll hear from Ryan Villanueva and Kevin Felix Chan about their experience through Model UN and how they met. And it's one that I'll absolutely echo. So if you're looking for something to do this summer, I 100% recommend the MUN Institute because it'll be one of the best experiences you'll ever have.
Absolutely. Thank you all, and please have a fantastic evening. And we hope to see you this summer.